And a lot of it just comes down to what do Infernum actually want to ban. Direwolves are the first pick this time.
Yep, we are going to swap things around, of course. Things have slowed down just a tad from our last draft, but Tom Kent's going to be banned away. I do like that pick away from Jack Attack, and Cassidy actually banned there as well, which we might just see the same 3 Infernum bans. Just take out the Fantix champion pool.
That's probably what it will be again. The Twisted Fate, the Cassidy, or the Fantix special. The Yasuo is the new addition that we haven't actually seen a lot of bans away from him yet. But if they continue along that train of thought, Rise is up, Gangplank will still be up again, and these are champions that I honestly don't think you give the Direwolves above the Cassidy and the Twisted Fate, solely because they can be flexed.
Yeah, the GP could be the big one there as well, if it's let through. So Kindred banned, Gangplank will get banned, so clearly Infernum have the same ideas here as well. As Direwolves are considering their final ban here. 20 seconds left, but they're going to go with, again, pretty standard ban here. Dr. Mundo taken away.
Getting rid of the tanks, of course. Jack a Tank, very good at playing those champions, so don't let him have it. Again.
So we do have TF open, but most of the times we saw Direwolves draft Twisted Fate last season, they drafted it quite late. Yeah, because blind picking TF as your first pick is quite dangerous.
What they do know is the options available, so they can actually mind game it. They know Direwolves, they want to pick Twisted Fate if it's available. Infernum may just pick to counter the Twisted Fate, and remember, Rise is still there.
Yep, Rise of course available. Plenty of good picks actually, and even Trundle, which saw decent play there from Whiffle in the support position, which would be another nice pick, and even a pick away from Jack Attack potentially. It was banned by Direwolves. No, it wasn't, because Whiffle picked it. Never mind. It bans others' tanks. Sometimes it's hard. But they're at least hovering the Trundle to start things off. Thanks, buddy. And there we go, it's locked in.
Alright, so they lock away the Trundle. Malphite is something that I'm going to say is mostly Oceanic in feel, so that's an interesting decision.
And there it is. Malphite Elise.
Yeah. I mean,
it is a Jack Attack special.
Okay, it's entirely the Jack Attack special, but you're picking a big tanky champion first. Malphite, I'm not going to say has direct counters, but you can mix up the damage in your team comp so that Malphite can't stack armor against you. If you force him to build magic resistance in laning phase, then in the mid game, he might not have enough statistics to deal with the rest of the team. And he is a one and done style of champion. Very difficult to do anything if the ultimate doesn't connect.
Yeah, we saw this, Tom Kent from the last game. Very hard to kill, but not impossible. Malphite feels a whole lot squishier than Tom Kent, so we'll see how that one works out here. So we're going to look at Ezreal, actually. Again, it's locked in. There's Lulu to follow, so very open draft to start things off for the Direwolves.
Yeah, the Lulu is another champion that has gone unnoticed in the first game. Of course, Fantix shows that he can play the Ezreal if need be. Sharp was a mid laner before he was a top laner, so Lulu always going to be on the agenda for him, and Kuden can definitely play that Trundle. So a lot of versatility, as you mentioned here, for the Direwolves. And really, their next part of their draft is just going to be cementing the team comp that they actually want, because Infernum just target Fantix.
Yeah, I mean, that's three bans away. We saw a pick away on blue side as well for their first pick, so we have potentially already the Ezreal for Fantix, but can of course go for the Twisted Fate if they want. If Infernum want to take it, they probably have to take it here, but with so much flexible drafting on the blue side, it's a little dangerous, but they'll stick to their guns. Alistar Lucian, so still think it's going to go back to that AD carry.
I do like the Alistar pickup this time, though. It gives a very big natural front line to complement Jack Attack, whereas it felt like Whiffle on the Trundle was he was tanky, but he never actually got through the beginning of a team fight, never actually survived the initial brunt without just running away.
We'll have to crack a smile there, because I do like these hovers at least. Sybil is, apart from an aggressive jungler, a very well-known Zac player. And of course, Zac's been seeing some play here and there, as I think they're having a bit of fun right now.
No, this is the Fiddlesticks patch, remember?
Oh no.
They've given him the new jungle item. Doesn't need a sheen. The dream, boys.
The dream. Fiddle dream. We'll see. Rise, of course, still available as well, so plenty of options here, really, for the Direwolves. Flashing a couple mid-picks, so it could be Ezreal there for Raze. But we'll give them a little bit more time. 10 seconds left for them to decide how they want to finish off this draft. And of course, Infernum will have a counter pick here as well.
Basically anything that does damage will be a very nice way to complement, unless they want to complement the damage they already have. Yeah,
no
just taunting us.
Yeah.
Lots of taunts.
Bit of fun there, but it is going to be Zac and Twisted Fate locked in. Like we said, the Wolves do tend to pick TF late, but they've set it up quite well here. That will leave Raze on Ezreal, of course, but he should be just fine there.
Definitely will, of course. Raze, a very competent AD carry, has played a fair bit of Ezreal. Sybil on Zac is the one thing that I really like at the moment from this Direwolves side. He was the Zac guy before it was even popular.
He's definitely even played it last year, I believe, in the OPL. So plenty of plays on the champion, both in solo queue and in the OPL. And last pick, Ahri, actually, from mid base. He probably expected Twisted Fate. Had the Ahri prepared.
Yep. So red side, they do get the last pick. It may have been a little bit of a struggle, not knowing who you were going to be against when you're on blue side. Direwolves can flex whatever they want. They did it again, but they have to show their hand before Infernum get that last option. choosing the Ari into the Twisted Fate is a big sign of confidence from Midbeast that shows that he wants to be able to kill Fantix in laning phase, or at least keep him in lane so that he can't use that ultimate and go around the map everywhere.
Yeah, definitely a lane where as Ari you get initiative, but like you're seeing with every Twisted Fate, you can't keep him down either by killing him or just suppressing him in that lane. Fantix especially will run absolutely wild around the map, with Zac especially to back him up. That gank power, both in mid lane and in other lanes between Sybil and Fantix, we've seen the synergy before. That's potentially very scary.
Well, he's shown multiple times, Fantix, even if he's losing his lane, he still roams effectively, goes for the 40% CDR type of Twisted Fate. And one thing to note is, of course, the Twin Ghost, the Spooky Ghost, you know, Frost Queen's claim. It's going to be very good right now on Twisted Fate because it makes killing people, catching people, and successfully using your ultimate a lot easier to do.
Certainly does. You thought it was bad enough when you got on top of your face with a gold card. Ghost will follow soon after, potentially. We see the two team comps lined up as we have swap sides. Don't forget your hashtags DWin for the Dials or INF win for Infernum. Let us know on Twitter who you are cheering for. But very soon we'll be getting ourselves onto the roof for our second game. We'll see if Direwolves can tie things up here with a clean sweep, or if Infernum can push us to game number 3.
And of course, Direwolves, one more time, even though there was a lot of targeted bans, still have put together a very strong team composition. They've got Zac to engage very heavily.
And with that, we are going to get a little word from Midbeast and see how he feels about his opponent here.
Fantix is one of the best, if not the best mid laner in OS, I think. His mechanics are just on point, always on point, and he knows what to do. His split push is just incredible, but, you know, if I get good jungle pressure and we, you know, focus the mid lane, we can definitely take them down, and, yeah, they'll be a top 10.
Well, talk about good jungle pressure. 5-man invade from Infernum just to make sure it all starts off on the right foot, but nothing going wrong there, as we do hear from Midbeast. Clearly respectful of such a good mid laner here. Also just an invade for vision, though, for Infernum. So no fireworks just yet here at level 1.
No, the standard big group up, of course. They've got an Alistar, so their level 1 is quite strong. If need be, Seb can go Cocoon. And again, if need be, Midbeast can go for that Charm. So the pick potential as a 5-man is nearly unrivaled. Direwolves again. They're going to group up and probably start, it looks like the red buff this time for Sybil. He doesn't want anything taken away from the top side of his own jungle.
Yep, smart to start on the unwatered side, but that is going to give information, of course, over to Infernum, as we are going to start with standard lanes once again. Looks like Sharp's already in the top lane hanging out. Kuden and Ray's going to take these Krugs. And Sybil solo, actually, is going to move through this red buff. It should be just fine here on Zac.
Yeah, so the Zac jungle, starting with the W, you actually get quite a chunk of your health back, and he's going to be able to smite that, take it away for himself. I'm going to call it an aggressive decision. He doesn't need the help of the Lulu to take them down, but if you got the help, just start on that blue buff, you'd be perfectly fine. What it says to me is he's looking to gank around level 3.
Yep, could be going for something pretty sneaky here, as we do move Raze and Kuden down into the bottom lane. Look at these young players having a giggle there.
Right?
I don't know. Saw some of his play last game.
I don't think he'd be laughing about it.
No, let's be fair. Fantix and Midbeast, of course, facing up against each other. The legendary Twisted Fate here is, this is maybe what we thought. Nope, never mind. Thought he was going for something extra cheeky.
He's got his passive, so don't always think that a Zac is that low and that means that he will die. He's very good at baiting smaller skirmishes, and 2v2s generally always favor the Zac, just because he has a second life, and they need to change their focus to the bloblets opposed to the second person that will be evidently hitting them. So he's good in skirmishes, good in 2v2s, everything up to 5v5 Zac will probably excel in, and as long as the team can work around him. In saying that, he had about 30% health and probably shouldn't be getting free bloblets on the map.
Well, hanging out there at the Wolves. He's going to start blue buff now as well, but does have his smite back and ready to go. Seb, though, flying through the jungle, nice and healthy as Elise. Going to take out this blue. And maybe look for a gank down the bottom lane. Could just be consolidating into that Rift Scuttler as well. But action down the bottom already. He's coming down.
He's already pinged that he wanted to go there. And of course, the Direwolves are playing aggressive and he can't make his mind up.
Yep.
Is it gankable?
Maybe worrying about wards there, but we know there aren't any. Infernum moving on to some vision. We'll spot Seb now, actually, as that ward barely dissipates. I don't know if Direwolves actually caught him there. This could be a very nice gank. Yeah.
So they may or may not know. He's worked his way towards the tri-bush potentially in the bottom lane if he chooses to gank.
And Kuden just left.
This could very well work right now for Infernum.
I mean, look, Whiffle going in. There it is. Going to move in for the combo. Just going to move him back. Good pillar there as Raze forced to move out of there. Exhauster down, but here comes Elise right around the side. Seb moves in, but Celtics is low. First blood goes to Trundle, and now Whipple going to start chasing, but Raze needs to try and get out of there. Thunderlords will proc. He's probably got no hope as Seb and the Spiderlings will take him down.
But the Direwolves, they get the first kill for themselves in what was going to be a 2 versus 3 scenario. Zach, in the meantime, he's split his attention somewhere else. The stun's in.
Ignite pressure. Good flash there. Oh, Sybil will go short. Mid-Beast had to sort of guess that, and he does do well.
A good flash from Mid-Beast at the exact same time as the stun connected. We're going to see that bottom fight again while we're going through this game. And honestly, the exhaust was the MVP here from Kuden. Uses the Q. The flash cocoon was never going to be enough to actually get in range.
Nice summon usage there for Raze.
Exactly right.
Unfortunately dead at this point. Spiderlings and Red Buff help chase him down.
They're fast, those Spiderlings.
Certainly are. There's Sharp pushing Jack attack in. Range versus melee. Sort of expect this. Jack just going to have to take his lumps early.
Yeah.
And then come back with some nice resistance. Fantix shoves his wave in. 15 CS ahead as Midbeast comes in to catch up. Double Doran's there for the Ari. I wonder where Fantix will go for that first item. It is going to be a catalyst to the very popular Rod of Ages Twisted Fate they started seeing in TF builds around the world.
Yep, going towards that Rod of Ages. Of course, Ari on the flip side, you would hope goes towards the Spooky Ghost, but they've been nerfed a little bit on 6.1. A little bit less efficient with that mana regeneration, so might opt towards the Morellos, get that 10% extra CDR as well, maintain the pressure and control in that middle lane, because Fantix, when he goes for the Rod of Ages on Twisted Fate, takes a while to scale.
Certainly does. As you can see, Sybil down the bottom is on a wall, but I have a feeling he knows. They're just sort of being annoying here. Raze has actually kept this wave pretty far down this lane, so Stealthix getting denied a bit, actually 10 CS down at this point. So nice play here from the Dial's bottom lane.
Believe it or not, Zach just jumped over the vision in that bush by going over the Dragon Pit with his elastic slingshot. Hasn't been spotted where he is right now.
Well, he's all the way back around the mid lane here. Oh, looks for the Wolves.
No jungle.
Pops his W. Yeah, there are no camps to take.
The thing with this, though, Zach is staying at level 4 for quite some time. Level 5 is a very big power spike for Zach because his ganking capabilities increase about 10-fold. The jump range is just unbelievably high.
Yep, every level of slingshot really does matter.
He wants this mid.
He really does. I mean, they know Midbeast has no flash, but this just might be a bit too aggressive. Wave needs to hold here. It's going to push back a bit. The gold card's activated, but can't go in, and Sybil is going to look to complete that recall. Midbeast level 6 now as well. It's just too hard.
But again, time wasted from Sybil is time that Seb is farming on the flip side. It's only a 3 CS lead, but it is an entire level, and potentially then some at this point in time. Seb needs to be able to make it work, though, otherwise it won't be paying dividends, all this farming.
It will not. And Sybil going to see if he can go back to his jungle and start playing catch up a bit. Tier up for Raze now as well. Double Doran's actually for Stealthix in the bottom lane, so they've got the CS lead, but combat stats not really there at this point for Ezreal, who should be going for that blue build once again, just like we saw Fantix do in the mid lane on the champion in game number 1.
And again, I'm going to keep saying that Seb needs to do something. The onus is entirely on him to make these ganks work. Clearing some vision now is a good first step. They've got 2 pinks around that middle lane, so you know where they're focusing their vision. Fantix is always going to be able to focus other lanes with that vision, though. So Seb, if he doesn't make something happen, all 3 lanes are organically losing at the moment. They're just sitting there, getting bullied out, losing in farm. You can see it across the board. Bottom lane, mid lane, and top.
Yep, and Fantix now actually has enough space to clear that ward out. Seb is coming in, though. Fantix has to be careful, needs to dodge the charm. Good stun there, but he does get charmed up as well. Might have to flash out a Sybil's here, but I think it's a little late. Fantix does go down as the Ignite, and Seb will be able to finish him off. But I'm not sure the Elise can get out of this one. Doesn't have a flash, moves into Spiderling. All the ulti is good, Raze collects it.
Raze getting the kill as well, of all people. That is going to be bad news for Infernum. In saying that, a fantastic charm out of Midbeast. They do get Fantix. Fantix not having flash available anymore means repeat offenders in this middle lane could work out for Infernum.
Yep, see Raze playing pretty far forward. Does get comboed. Stealthix going to move in, but a nice pillar. Going to interrupt some of that. Does take the damage though. Kuden starts chomping on Alistar. Probably pretty tasty.
I'm going to say that wasn't very efficient trading from Stealthix. Basically granted that kill right, or not the kill, the out trade right there, but opts into just doing a bit of damage. And honestly, that was about 30% of Elise's health.
Yeah, Ezreal ulti when it doesn't touch anything but one person does quite a lot of single target damage, so
it's also with just a tier, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Raze with a pinpoint accuracy cleans Seb off the rift, at least for now. He's back, of course, farming up towards that top side on the red buff. And just having a quick look. Pretty early items here for top lane. Seems that we are in a farm fest, which is to be expected. Sharp again, getting a small edge here in the lane, but relatively even as Rod of Ages not quite there for Fantix. Seems like Abyssal up for mid beast as well. So really respecting a lot of the early game damage here.
I mean, yeah, mid-beast working towards that Abyssal Scepter will still have a lot of pressure in this lane. No spike to be seen from Fantix until the Rod of Ages is done. And even then, it does become efficient with Rod of Ages, but becomes so much more efficient the longer the game goes and starts stacking. Until such a point where I would actually say Fantix is able to fight mid-beast, honestly, I don't think it will exist because it's going to take so long to get the spike.
Looks like everyone just farming up for now. Fantix does have his blue buff, but just going to use that to farm for the most part here. Dials have repinked the left-hand side as well, so we have pretty big power struggle for vision. As Kuden does spot the blue buff. In fact, they're going to take it. Sees a pink wall though, so Infernum know exactly what's happening. Kuden though, just going to get in there and take it. And this is a very nice play. Could be dangerous. Raze really wants this blue. Oh no, it reset. That is not like a good time. Not like this. But I mean, Infernum aren't coming. They're just way too scared of the Twisted Fate ulti, and Raze does get it. A steal literally out from in front of them.
Yeah, and basically, Wiffle watched it happen. Lucian, Celtics decided he didn't want anything to do with it. Instead, he wants to continue to farm, but he's basically sitting under his turret. Sybil's working out of vision.
Oh, Fantix in trouble. Does juke the charm though. Now going to have to go back in, but he doesn't get the stun card, and mid-beast collects him.
And this is it, one more time. Repeat offenders in the middle lane. Seb should be focusing Fantix. Mid-beast even said it himself in that snippet that he thinks that they can win if they focus him with that jungle control.
Yep, and there's a good bit of pressure from Seb. Perhaps a little late as the Rod of Ages is up for Fantix, but it's like step in the right direction here for mid-beast. He's going to catch up a bit in CS as well and collect a nice refresh on the blue buff because Raze stole his.
Well, look, mid-beast in a much better position this time, actually getting the kill himself as well, so starting to get some gold back in his favor. In fact, you would wager he's almost a little bit ahead now. Doing well, this Infernum middle laner. In saying that, the rest of the team, not so much.
No, still a bit behind in mid, but that's, I think, mostly Twisted Fate passive and immaculate CSing helping out there. Raze down the bottom, by the way. Happily bullying 1v2. Yeah, Wiffle's going on some ways in a mission, actually, in the mid lane. But with Sybil behind him, Raze pretty confident. There's a ton of vision around this bottom side. Raze just playing very aggressively, much like we saw in Game 1.
Yeah, he's got the blue buff, so he's actually quite comfortable using only his Q to trade because Lucian will never be in range if it's only the Q range being used by the Ezreal. So smart play here from Direwolf's bottom lane, or I guess the 1v2 in the Direwolf's bottom lane. But Sybil's holding his hand just from, really far away because that's what a Zac can do.
It is, and we see level 7 Zac now, so Sybil getting towards that max elastic slingshot range. Haven't seen any pressure just yet here from the gank, but he's going to keep farming up. He's got the Cinder Hulk completed, so nice and tanky early on. Sharp is going to go for that Frost Queen's claim. So we are going to see at least one here to help chase down potential Infernum members. But I think the biggest thing, you mentioned this in the pregame, is that Fantix has not had a chance to ulti yet.
No, he hasn't had a chance to ulti. Mid-beast is always, whether he's winning or losing the lane, he's positioning himself offensively enough or close enough to the Twisted Fate that there's no actual chance of a roam. Whifflesticks is here with Seb this time. Very hard to get the minions to the turret.
Here comes the squad. Mid-beast goes in for it. Teleport's going to come down as well. Fantix gets combo charmed in there as well and blown up as that TP even got cancelled.
Sharp cancelling it himself, of course. The Sybil's found Seb.
Well, Kuden's here as well. 2v3 with a support and jungler as Raze is also coming in. Whipple still has his ultimate, so he's probably not too fussed about this. And this is the pressure we were talking about. Raze will clear out the wave and do damage. Goes in very deep over the wall. So he'll keep the turret up, but this is bad news. There's Sharp now onto Jack attack. The slows it there. Jack's forced to burn the ulti. Sharp will not follow with his flash. You can see Lulu now starting to get traction in this lane as well.
And that's against the magic resistance that's been built from Jack attack as well. So not too bad here from Sharp in this top lane. Starting to build some pressure as well. I mean, Direwolves, they just aren't helping Fantix. Like, top lane, he's doing okay. He doesn't have the teleport anymore. Ezreal's just using the ult to consolidate losses. But Sybil's focusing near Raze, and Kuden, honestly, I haven't even seen him on this map until Fantix dies, in which case he just walks mid and takes the farm.
It was a nice roam, certainly, from Infernum, but they're not protecting their key player here, our Direwolves. Mid-beast starting to get a bit of an edge. Actually is going for Frost Queens as well. As the Frost Ring built up now after that Abyssal.
Rift Herald's being done as well as the Dragon, I believe.
All right, so a trade here. Herald for the Dragon. Looks like it might be going to Sharp, although Jack does spot it. No sweeper up to try and clear that out, but the Herald's done. And he is going to go to Sharp, so that's going to be problems mounting there for Jack, although they do trade as Infernum will pick up the Dragon.
Yeah, no ultimate available for Jack Attack as well, so not just trouble, some serious issues are about to mount in that top lane. Direwolves don't even need to go near there, honestly. Sybil one more time needs to try and either just force the ultimate out of Ahri to prevent a lot of pressure in this middle lane. Let Twisted Fate roam. At least the Twisted Fate does scale with items.
Well, there you go, Sharp again. A little low in mana, unfortunately. But he's going to clear out the pink that he finds. Jack's going to try and stop him. Actually, maybe not the best idea here from Sharp. Doesn't even get the last order, and Jack's just going in. Doesn't have an ulti. Pings for help. Sybil is in the area, but low on mana. Sharp actually can't win those trades.
No. He's going too hard to get a pink ward. He needs to recall. Doesn't actually have his teleport to go back to that lane either. So not effective use of the Rift Herald, I will say. Potentially could have been better used on Sybil. In saying that, if we can keep Jack attacking that top lane, maybe force the ultimate one more time, we'll call it a slight win for Infernum.
Well, Stealthic's still working on his first item, but Ezreal, of course, finished his. Nice and cheap is the old Iceborne Gauntlet. Does have it completed now, building in towards that mirror mana once again. Ray's still down here on his own, just kind of sneaking around in this bush.
He's just... Positioning-wise, Raze really doesn't care.
No, I feel like Whiffle's just... Oh, Kudensor's just left him alone. Ghosts do get popped. Looking for a jungler, but not going to find it.
Seb's not even close.
Yeah, good info, but Ghost goes a long way to realize that there's nothing there. Kuden going to slap down a ward as Whiffle and Seb are waiting here. Kuden does spot one. Sybil actually going for it, but he gets interrupted. Now Midby's going to come in. Does not pop the ulti, though. Infernum starting to apply a little bit more pressure towards this Dragon area.
Good work from Whiffle Sticks, though, to be able to stop the Zac engage. Very good. Negates any kind of action that Infernum may not want to be a part of. I will say, though, that Jack Attack is in a very threatening position to use that ultimate if he can just get out of this laning phase, but Sharpie got the recall in, and this is exactly what should be happening in this top lane.
Corrupting Potion Lulu, pretty annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Sharp still continuing to farm up a storm. Jack's kept the CS quite close, actually, so not doing too badly here as he goes back and collects a few more components. Just wants to be nice and tanky early on. But we could see another big scaling combo for Dials. I think Sharp is going for a Rod of Ages himself. And much like the tier roll build from game one between the Ryze and the Ezreal, could take a while to stack things up. The 20-minute, 25-minute special from Direwolves here again. Sharp does get tower top, though.
If the pressure continues from Sharp, then they're going to draw Seb here naturally, as you're about to see. Very hard to kill someone with a Frost Queen's Claim, though, because if he doesn't have vision and is pushed, he will just press the button and see if you're nearby.
Oh, Jack Attack. He's going to slap down these minions. Did lose his tower, so...
What a loud skin as well. Really makes you known. Makes it known when he slaps a minion.
Well, there's Malphite. He's a Mountainous champion. I would hope his presence was known.
Funnily enough, the same size as Brand
yes,
in the game.
Which, and Zac. I think Zac's taller, actually.
Well, Zac's like a candy mountain with this skin.
Bandic's now looking for a roam, actually. Could actually see our first Twisted Fate ultimate of the game.
It actually looks like he's walking.
Yeah, he is. Walking top. Did he get spotted by a ghost? I think he might have got tagged. Now Sybil actually going to find Seb. They're going for the stun. Damage is good. Ignite is there, and that should be enough. But Midby's going to go back in for it. Sharp's here as well, though. Did TP in. The Wild Growth pop. The Polymorph there. The stun will land into Sharp. Going to collect himself the kill.
Without using Fantix's Twisted Fate ultimate, they catch people out of position. Very good pink ward placement from the Direwolves deep inside the Infernum jungle. And they find themselves with an opportunity to push, maybe. Jack does have his Malphite ultimate, but Whiffle's here as well. Yep,
Fantix did go back. He's got an Abyssal Scepter now, actually, so continuing to get pretty aggressive with the item builds. You see this again. This is just a big face check from Seb and a great rotation from the Direwolves.
Yeah, definitely was. Fantix being able to combo the stun with Sybil was great, but of course, don't take your attention away from the top third of the map because there's some aggression right there.
Yep, saw a Flash Force there on the top side, but Kuden and Sybil getting aggressive on the Stealthix, who will not have that summoner. That's pretty key. We've got Dragon and Baron both spawning in a minute 30. And Dial's just starting to group for these turrets. 3 members strong. Should be able to get this one at least.
Whiffle's threatening on the outside here. They may want an engage.
Well, they are going to get it, I think. Seb's trying to chase them off it. Sybil does need one more slap, knocks up. That's actually a little late now. He's in trouble with the Bloblets are coming. Fantic's now going to join in on Twisted
hit
Fate.
the turret,
and the
Kuden.
stun's there. Kuden, he needs it, but they can't get it in. Jack finds the 2 carries there with the ulti, and the exhaust is down onto Twisted Fate. He'll keep moving. Sybil's still not out, but he will flash to safety onto a Bloblet, I think. Now Midbeast could be in trouble, but Whiffle's going to move back in. Raze will get blown up as Stealthix returns. And Whiffle will get stunned up, but can they catch more? Kuden low on mana. Fantix out of summoners. They will not chase, but messy again from the Direwolves.
Definitely messy. They didn't help Sybil to take down that turret. Very bad calculations from the Direwolves side in saying that Sybil miraculously gets out with his life. I have no idea how he managed to do that because look at Kuden. He should just come and hit the turret once maybe for his teammate. Twisted Fate comes in. Look, Kuden really wants to. He really wants to, but he's not going to as their attention was changed towards the rest of the Direwolves side. They do well in that regard to force the attention back onto them. But again, a big oversight as Raze, he pays for that. The rest of them do just get out.
Yeah, used his healed actually to save Sybil, but did not get away with his own life. As Dragon and Baron are both up nice and soon. We do see a couple items being finished. Whiffle going to combo Kuden just to push him out of the area. Seb's going to get himself the Scuttle Crab. And Dragon is going to be our next point of contention. Jack Attack top lane, not ulti, but does have his TP. Sharp actually no TP, so the Direwolves going to struggle to contest here.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they do contest this one as Whiffle and Kuden.
Kuden's in.
Oh, God.
Maybe not where he wants to be. He's going to pillar in. Dragon's actually not quite done. Raze and Fantic's going to go into Sybil, goes all the way over the top. Whiffle doesn't have his ulti, does get taken out by Raze, and Direwolves going to turn things around and claim the Dragon.
That was the biggest Zac jump that I have ever seen. He was in the back of the Dragon, not even in the pit. And he made it all the way to the entrance of the blue buff. Welcome to the Zac changes, ladies and gentlemen. He's going again.
Woo! Underset misses, gets stunned. But they are going to dive in for it. Kuden going to come in to protect him. Knock up Midbeast there. And that's going to force the ulti out as they'll take the turret as well. Direwolves spring to life here at 20 minutes, just like we thought.
The Twisted Fate having 2 items. A nice charm onto Raze, but again, big spike for Fantix on this Twisted Fate. He's starting to put down a lot of damage. And he's gone in a defensive-offensive style of build. So difficult for Midbeast to assassinate him. Difficult for Jack Attack as well. The only real threat to him is going to be Stealthix or multiple people hitting him.
Good timing there as well from the Direwolves. Know that Jack didn't have his ulti even if he joined in. So not too much to worry about there. Whiffle actually caught again, but he pops his ulti this time. Sybil over the top is the threat to watch here. He's going to move over with a slingshot. Wants it onto Midbeast. Goes straight in there, and the wild growth is good. Takes out Whiffle. Midbeast is dead, and Sybil's bouncing all over the shop. Jack Attack is going to get himself stunned. Gets polymorphed as well and can't use it. A double kill for Sybil and a great dive.
Direwolves again. Every single time Zac has used that elastic slingshot, they've found something from it. They're threatening with it one more time, but the Twin Ghost's going to scare them off. And another turret for Direwolves. A fantastic skirmish in the middle lane, working around their strengths and rotating superbly.
And this game's just exploded at this point. A Dragon apiece, but 9 kills to 5 and 5 turrets to 0. Maybe make it 6 as they push down the bottom. And they're 10,000 gold ahead.
They're so far ahead, and honestly, it came down to laning phase. Infernum were really struggling from just last hitting, the lane pressure, everything. Fantix, this is all coming down to Kuden placing pillars as Trundle. This engage from Sybil one more time, very good angle. Actually finds the targets, gets Lulu ulted and Raze.
Raze in trouble again. Stealthix looking low.
One.
He does get the kill. Can he get out? Sharp's going to join in. That's going to be another as Seb goes down. Raze, this time rewarded for his aggression.
Of course, Sharp there to save his partner in crime. Is very good on this Ezreal is Raze, I can say that much. A lot easier to stay alive on an Ezreal than it is Corki. And it's starting to show.
I don't think I ever want to see him play like Ashe. That's the only thing.
Oh, God,
Whiffle actually finds Sharp. Charm will land. No, not quite as the Wild Growth popped in again. Whiffle doesn't have his ulti. He's dead as Sharp takes him out. And Jack's coming through now. Does have the ulti and the flash ready, but pretty tricky targets to catch. Kuden going to rotate in as well. Sybil also lining up for a dive. This could be the 6th turret now taken out with the Direwolves. All of a sudden, pace is on here. We thought the first game was long. This one's looking to end very quickly.
Yeah, the heat's definitely rising for this Infernum side. They haven't found an opportunity to use Jack Attack's ultimate on this Malphite. And honestly, the more that the snowball continues, the less impact that Malphite ultimate will have. As it just feels like Sybil is able to do what Jack Attack does, but on a 10-second cooldown.
Yeah, and Sybil's Zac play has been superb in these last few fights. certainly something we expect from the seasoned Zac player, but you can see why it's a pick that really, even though a few people are playing, he's definitely the one to look for as Twisted Fate's going in somewhere. Fantix is in topside. Seb is absolutely dead. Goodbye, friend, as Fantix collects the kill. Sybil just bounces around for a bit of fun, and now they'll start pushing top lane.
It's such a great ultimate. He's also got the best joke in the game, to be fair. Turns into a giant blob. Sybil one more time with Fantix. It's good to see the Twisted Fate ultimate being used aggressively. Now they're going to get themselves a Baron, most likely.
And this, again, aggressive play from Dials, much more proactive than they were in game number 1. You can tell how they play when they think they're behind versus when they know they're ahead. Yeah. They are looking to close out this game in lightning fast paced. Baron will go there as Sybil smites it away. And Infernum are in a whole lot of trouble.
They definitely are. Honestly, Midbeast, there's nothing he can do at this stage. The Twisted Fate is so far ahead of him. The split pushing options are there for Direwolves. They've got the team fight option themselves. And honestly, if you're Infernum, your only bet that you can go for at the moment is hit the Miracle Jack Attack Malphite ultimate, follow it with Midbeast and Stealthix, and take someone down.
Well, the items are starting to stack up here, so unfortunately for Jack, he might not even be that tanky at this point in the game.
No.
Just a Spirit Visage, really, and a couple of tanky components. He will die swiftly to the Direwolves damage deals. As you can see, they're starting to keep pushing in. The Baron's still there. They've got a little bit left, probably about half or so. Actually, quite a bit more, almost 3/4 left for the Direwolves. Kuden's going to slap down a ward.
Nope.
I'm going to see a bit of a split push. Fantix can drain whenever he wants, except he doesn't have his ultimate. But he's more than a threat on his own here, especially against Jack.
Yeah, honestly, Jack Attack can't deal with him. He's going to need a help of probably Midbeast in this case, and they're going on
Ulti's
him.
out, Fantix, nice to flash, but does Sonya's. Very nice little trick there as Midbeast does move it back in. Needs the gold cut, couldn't find it on the first rotation, but Midbeast going to be the target as the exhaust comes down. Now Jack just going to get kited around. Fantix will not die. The wild growth pop. Jack gets baited in. The polymorph once again. Fantix collects the kill. 5v4 now for the Direwolves.
And they even give the kill to Fantix. That's a little bit insulting now. Sybil's in. That's really
Straight
good.
in, but he gets cancelled by Whipple. Pops the arms, but doesn't quite collect anyone. But the base is now broken, possibly in 2 places. Direwolves get the bottom in Nexus turret, inhib turret. They'll claim the inhibitor itself. And also working on mid. Look at that, synchronized destruction. And this could be game.
They should be able to end the game from here. A desperate engage is needed from Whipples. He doesn't even have the flash until about now, and it's looking quite dire.
Certainly is, but not for the Direwolves, as they're looking to close this one out.
Didn't you?
Sev, he's going to flash out a Sybil, but he's just zoning him away at this point. That's going to look to end the game. The Baron buff is still here. And Infernum, no answer. Nexus turret falls. That's one last stand. Can they make it happen? Ray's going to go in. He might get punted into the fountain, but Sybil goes back in, takes out Elise, bounces around it. Wild Growth is there as well to keep the AD carry up. And Fantix might just look to finish the game, but they'll pad the stats for a while. It's a massacre around the Nexus, but the Direwolves sweep Infernum 2-0.
And it wouldn't be a Direwolves victory without Ray's trying his absolute best to die at the end of it. A very clean-cut victory for these guys, and polar opposites from game 1.
Absolutely. Less than half the time, I think, to finish game 2 versus game 1. And just great play there.
Yeah, first game of the Direwolves. What a great showing from these guys. Good work to them.
That's the play we expect. We get a little bit more as we throw ourselves back to the analyst desk.
So the Direwolves are able to take this one in much quicker game time. You know, probably halved it there. 56 the first time around. That one was mid-20s. And let's start with Infernum, because, you know, we heard from Midbeast, they came, and you said it as well, Atlas, they came into the Summoner's Rift with a game plan, and that's what you like about Infernum, and that was to camp out that mid lane.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure that they got on top of this Twisted Fate, right? So they left it up in the draft, they allowed Fantix to get this pick, and then Midbeast, of course, goes back to a comfort pick. He loves his Ahri, always has, and would always want to jump back on that champion if he can, and what their plan was, of course, was to let's just sit in his lane, grab Seb, pick him up, chuck him there every single time, and camp him out. And we've got some replays available. We can have a look at it because it was relentless. He died 3 times.
It certainly was. So as we grab these up, Minky, take us through it. There's an Elise, there's an Alistair, and there is an Ahri. Let's have a look at just how much they run over Fantix here.
Yep. All right. All right, so Seb's coming in. They go for, you know, the level 6 power spike of Ahri. They get the kill, and
another one here. You know, they just another dive, and you can see that the game plan to pick on Fantix, you know, there's even a third one as you throw Whiffle underneath the turret. And so Alistair, he's there as a big tanky guy at level 7. He didn't even have to burn the ultimate, so they couldn't re-engage on it. All of a sudden, you see the Elise and the Ahri, and you think, wow, all of a sudden, this is pick League of Legends. Like, they've got such a good game plan. Green wards are eliminated for the game, but what they didn't take into consideration was how long the engage is from the Zac, from the Twisted Fate, and just how much map pressure they had on the side of Direwolves, which won them the game.
Yeah, so dealing with Zac, his leap is just so far. Like, you need to have you need to have really good vision and just a bit of awareness of playing against that champion. It's very different from all the rest. I feel like Infernum, they kind of tunneled too much on the mid lane, and it just left Zac to roam and farm up and get to that power spike. Zac is traditionally very weak early, so they should have bullied him a bit more, got a bit more pressure in the jungle, but they just kind of let him do his thing.
Yeah, and I know that what you want to hit on, Atlas, is even though the mid lane was bullied, no gold deficit for Fantix because he farmed so well, and that opened up the bottom lane for Direwolves to start to capitalize.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I mean, Raze was playing overly aggressive last game. We definitely gave him that credit, but this game, he was dominant. They had a 2v3 fight at the very start of this game. First Blood went over to the Trundle, but that was at the deficit. And I mean, Raze ended up falling over, grabbed himself the extra assist, and then proceeded to, as Seb was just in the mid lane the whole time, the 2v2 just went all the way in his favor. Top lane was the same. Sharp got so far ahead of Jack Attack, kept the bully on, took the turret.
Yeah, and that's what I really want to show. We're going to pull up another replay for you guys. Atlas, I want you to take us through this one because this just shows how far every single member of the Direwolves, even Fantix at this stage of the game, is ahead of their counterpart and what they can do to bully the other team.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can have a look already as this is paused because look at those numbers in the CS. 20 CS ahead in the bottom lane and it's ahead in the top, but it's because Sharp's been roaming around the map. You can see mid already. So as we play this one out, it's all about Direwolves just getting the team fight that they want. Whiffle gets caught out here, pops the ultimate immediately, but look at how freaking fast Sybil goes. Right in amongst it. The wild growth is right there. Sharp on top of his Lulu play this game, just facilitating the rest of his team. Jack Attack, nothing he could do. And Sybil's just a monster.
Yeah, he certainly is. Time and time again, they were just able to take up these structures, come up with good team fights, and that does mean the Direwolves will get the 2-0 on tonight. So as we take a look at the schedule and the coming matches to come, of course, we have another game tomorrow night, Legacy versus Skin, and then the double header as well as the OPL Legend matches. Trident will take on the Chiefs, and Halion will take on Avant-Garde. So tomorrow, Legacy versus... I just see... Who's going to win the game, Minky Whale? Tell me right now.
Well, I don't want to be too biased, but I really think Legacy have it in the bag.
Whoa, really? I was expecting you to say Sin. Legacy coach? That is very interesting.
Atlas, coming to you. You on this Legacy hype train, or do you think Sin have this one?
Well, actually, I really like how tidy the roster swaps were for Legacy, of course, so I'm going to hand it to Minky Well. I think that they're probably favorites to win this one, but I've heard about how hungry Sin are, and I'm really excited to see how they play on Summoner's Rift here in the OPL.
Yeah, Sin were also my dark horse. I think that they do have a chance, but that's all from us tonight, guys. So thank you so much. Tune in the same time tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you then.